Hey folks, Mr. Quinn here. For this IXL talk through, we're going to be looking at a review skill on how to find equivalent fractions. It's something that you should have been exposed to in elementary school, but we're going to just roll through a couple of examples and see how we do. So I'm going to get my stylus out, and so we're looking at 1 over something is equal to 5 over 10. So what we have to do here is we have to compare to things that we know. In this case, I know both of my numerators because I have a 1 on the top and I have a 5 in the other fraction. And I need to say that these are equal. So anytime you are working with things that are equivalent, it's just like a ratio. We can either multiply or we can divide. In this case, we are going to want to, our number is getting bigger. So hopefully you thought to yourself, I need to multiply. And you have to ask yourself, what times 1 is going to get me 5? And that's a pretty easy one because 1 times 5 is going to get you 5. So if I did that on the top, I have to work the same type of process on the bottom. Well, when I look at my bottom two numbers, my denominators, I have a 10 on this fraction and I have a blank. So this is where I'm trying to figure out what I did. So I have to think to myself, and there's two different strategies. I can say, what times 5 equals 10? Or I can do the opposite since I'm going in the other direction, and I can divide by 5. I can do 10 divided by 5 to get 2. Or I could have said, remember that first strategy, what times 5 equals 10? 2 times 5 equals 10. And then I can go ahead and I can type in my 2 and I can hit submit. So what we're doing here is we're really just trying to find equivalent fractions. So our next problem is 1 over 5 equals something over 10. Similar numbers, but different solution. So I'm just going to go ahead right here and I'm going to write out my 1 over 5, my 1/5, and my something over 10. So I want you to take a second to think how you would solve. Hopefully you started by recognizing we have a denominator in both fractions. So we're working from 5 to 10. My number is getting bigger. So hopefully we're thinking to multiply. And now you have to decide. You have to kind of pull on some of those brain neurons and think 5 times what equals 10? It's 2. And I'm going to do the same thing on the top. Notice how this, and I'm going to do this in a different color because I want this to stand out. This is the same as this. It's all about keeping things balanced. So 1 times 2 is going to give me 2. And my new denominator for my equivalent fraction is 2/10. I do hope this video helps. You're probably going to need a calculator, and you're definitely going to need something to write with and something to write on to help yourself solve these questions correctly. But I think you're going to do a wonderful job.